the last anyone saw of Aya Nakamura. She was a trembling prisoner on Takamura's recording. Pale, hollow-eyed, strapped to a chair, the words, "my creation," whispered over her like a curse. But now, months later, another video had surfaced. Different setting, different Aya. She was in an operating theater wearing scrubs, surgical mask lowered. Her hands moved with steady precision as she sutured a patient's chest. Behind her, unseen but unmistakable, Takamura's voice guided her.
Aya, you see now. This is not theft. This is rebirth.
Aya glanced at the camera, her eyes steady, no longer filled with fear but conviction. And to the horror of everyone watching, she nodded. Back in Tokyo, Detective Ryo Tanaka had nearly driven himself to collapse, chasing Takamura's shadow across Asia. Every time he drew close, the doctor slipped away. Every raid revealed horrors, donor farms, vanished patients, bodies discarded like waste, but never the man himself. Now sitting at his cluttered desk, Tanaka rubbed the exhaustion from his face as a phone call jolted him upright. A boy, only 12 years old, had woken from surgery at Shinjuku General screaming, "That wasn't my doctor. He took something from me." Terrified parents demanded answers. The hospital insisted the procedure was routine, a simple appendectomy. But the boy's scars told a different story: deeper cuts, irregular stitching, bruises around the ribs. Someone had stolen one of his kidneys, and the staff swore the surgeon who performed it was Dr. Takamura himself. Tanaka's blood ran cold. Takamura was back, and he had infiltrated the system from within. The boy's case opened the floodgates. Similar stories emerged from other hospitals, patients recovering from one illness only to discover an organ missing. The thefts were surgical, precise, impossible to detect unless someone checked. It wasn't random, it was systematic. Tanaka's investigation uncovered whispers of a new syndicate, the White Circle. Surgeons, anesthesiologists, nurses, all working in secret. A shadow network of medical professionals who had pledged themselves to Takamura's vision. They operated across borders, sharing resources, covering each other's tracks. It was no longer one man, it was a movement. And at the heart of it stood Takamura, untouchable, invisible, pulling strings like a phantom. Interpol raids finally captured a key piece of evidence. Leaked footage of Aya Nakamura performing transplant surgeries in Thailand and Cambodia. Gone was the frightened resident who once trembled under his control. In her place stood a surgeon nearly as skilled as Takamura himself. Calm, efficient, utterly loyal. When asked why she followed him, she looked directly into the camera and answered,
"Because he showed me the truth. Medicine as we practice it today is flawed. It is selective, corrupt, and slow. He is the only one brave enough to free us from the chains of bureaucracy. He doesn't take lives, he reallocates them."
The words sent a chill through Tanaka. Aya wasn't a hostage anymore. She was a believer. Buried in encrypted files seized during a raid in Kuala Lumpur was the name of Takamura's ultimate project, Izanami, named after the goddess of death in Japanese mythology. The files described horrifying experiments: genetically engineered donors, artificially extended viability of organs, and methods to keep a single body alive indefinitely while harvesting it piece by piece. It was medical immortality built on endless suffering. One phrase repeated in the notes: "The perfect vessel must not die." The perfect vessel must only give. Tanaka stared at the reports in disgust. Takamura wasn't just a surgeon anymore. He was a prophet of a new kind of human slavery. A breakthrough came when a whistleblower doctor in Tokyo reached out to Tanaka. He claimed to have inside knowledge of Izanami and agreed to testify. But the night before the meeting, his apartment was ransacked. blood on the floor, his phone smashed. He was never seen again. The only message left on his desk: "They're already here." Tanaka realized with horror. Takamura's people weren't hiding outside the system, they had already infiltrated it. A tip led Tanaka to an abandoned hotel in Shinjuku, its basement converted into a secret hospital. What he found inside scarred him for life. Rows of patients strapped to beds, their eyes open but empty. Machines kept them breathing. Tubes drained fluids. Surgical scars crisscrossed their bodies. They weren't dead, but they weren't alive either. They were shells, sustained only to produce organs again and again. Tanaka staggered back, bile rising in his throat.
This isn't medicine, this is hell.
And then he heard a voice behind him.
A detective should not wander where gods walk.
Aya stood there, surgical mask hanging loose, eyes calm. Tanaka's hand went to his gun.
Aya, it's not too late. Step away from him. Help me stop this.
Her lips curved in a sad smile.
You don't understand. He isn't destroying life. He's elevating it. Do you know how many lives he's saved? How many families he's healed?
"You're blind," Tanaka snapped. "He's turning people into cattle. He's enslaving humanity." Aya's eyes hardened.
And yet, tell me, detective, how many have died waiting on your government's transplant lists? How many graves dug because men like you cling to rules?
Her words cut deep. For a moment, Tanaka faltered. Was she right? But before he could answer, an explosion rocked the building. Flames tore through the underground hospital. Patients screamed. Machines sparked. The walls crumbled. Aya turned and fled into the smoke, vanishing like a ghost. Tanaka staggered through the chaos, dragging two barely conscious victims to safety. Sirens wailed as fire crews swarmed the hotel, but by the time the flames died, Aya was gone. And Takamura, once again unseen. But he had left behind a message carved into the concrete wall, singed but clear. "It's not you chasing me, detective. It's me chasing you." The next day, headlines exploded. Detective Tanaka linked to organ syndicate. Leaked bank transfers, falsified reports, anonymous witnesses, all pointing to Tanaka as Takamura's accomplice. Overnight, he went from hunter to hunted. The police he had served for decades turned on him. Warrants were issued, his badge revoked. Tanaka was now a fugitive, but he didn't care. If anything, it freed him. Without bureaucracy, without oversight, he could chase Takamura on his own terms. Reports came from London, Berlin, even New York. Organ trafficking cases exploding. Clinics discovered, each bearing the same surgical signature. Takamura's empire was no longer underground, it was everywhere. He had franchised his methods, trained disciples, created an ideology. He wasn't just a man anymore. He was becoming a myth. Following a desperate lead, Tanaka tracked a convoy of unmarked vans to a remote rural facility in northern Japan. Inside, he found blueprints, surgical diagrams, patient lists. On the walls, photographs of children, adults, the elderly, all labeled with organ tags. And in the final chamber, a screen flickered to life. Takamura appeared, his face calm, eyes burning.
Detective, part of me is already inside your cities, inside your hospitals, inside your people.
When you cut me down, you will find I have multiplied.
The screen went black. Tanaka pressed deeper into the lab, and then he froze. On a surgical bed lay a man, unconscious but breathing. Tanaka's breath caught in his throat. It was Takamura, the same face, the same body, the same scars. But how? As Tanaka stepped closer, he saw the tag at the foot of the bed. Prototype A, success. The truth hit him like a hammer. Takamura had done it. he had replicated himself. Whether through cloning, surgery, or genetic manipulation, there were now multiple Takamuras. The detective stumbled back, horror clawing at his chest. The world would never know which Takamura was real, or if he could ever be stopped. Alarms blared, footsteps thundered, and then, from the shadows, another Takamura stepped into the room. Eyes wide open, scalpel in hand, smiling. "You've chased me long enough, detective. Now, it's your turn to be the donor." The lights snapped out, and the world plunged into darkness. The alarms screamed through the abandoned lab. Red lights pulsed against cold steel walls. Detective Ryo Tanaka stumbled back, heart racing as the figure stepped out of the shadows. It was Takamura. Same piercing eyes, same unsettling calm, same surgeon's hands. But Tanaka had just seen another Takamura lying unconscious on the operating bed. Now this one stood before him, scalpel gleaming, lips curling into a smile.
You've chased me long enough, detective. Now it's time you gave something back. A heart, perhaps? Or maybe those sharp eyes of yours.
The light snapped out. Darkness swallowed the room, and Tanaka realized this was not a hunt anymore, it was a trap. Tanaka's instincts flared. He dropped to the floor as the scalpel sliced air where his throat had been. In the dark, every sound echoed, the hum of machines, the hiss of ventilators, the scrape of shoes. He fired his pistol into the black muzzle flash, revealing glimpses, surgical masks, white coats. More figures, more Takamuras. It wasn't just one, there were at least 3. Shadows lunged at him, a blade cut across his arm. Tanaka grunted, rolled, fired again. A body fell, but the laughter remained. Low, mocking, multiplied. "Which of us is real, detective?" the voices echoed. "Can you kill a ghost if it has 100 faces?" Blood dripped down on Tanaka's sleeve. He was outnumbered, but not outwitted. He grabbed a nearby tray, smashed the power box. Sparks flew. The emergency lights flickered to life, revealing the truth. 3 Takamuras stood in the room. One bleeding, one smiling, one eerily still. Tanaka tightened his grip on his gun.
I don't care which of you is real. I'll kill you all if I have to.
Before the standoff could explode, the steel door slammed open. Aya Nakamura stormed in, clad in surgical scrubs, her eyes wild.
Stop, all of you!
The Takamuras froze. Tanaka's breath caught. Aya moved to the center between hunter and hunted. Her gaze flickered from Tanaka's gun to Takamura's scalpel.
You think this ends with a bullet, detective? You don't understand. He's already won. Killing him won't stop what's coming.
Tanaka's voice cracked with fury.
You betrayed everything you swore to be, Aya. A doctor heals, she doesn't butcher. You chose him over your own soul.
Her eyes shimmered. For a flicker of a moment, guilt passed across her face, but then she hardened. "I chose the future." The smiling Takamura stepped forward. "Detective, let me enlighten you. You've been chasing a man, but I am no longer one man. I am an idea, an institution." He gestured to the unconscious Takamura on the table. Prototype A, the first successful replication. His heart beats with mine. His hands cut as mine cut. Soon there will be dozens, hundreds. He leaned closer, eyes blazing. When governments falter, when waiting lists grow, when families beg for miracles, who do you think they'll turn to? They already do. I am the future of medicine, and I will be my first apostle. Tanaka's gut twisted. This wasn't just crime, it was a doctrine, a cult of medicine. And Aya, trembling but defiant, whispered, "He saved me. He showed me what true healing looks like." Tanaka's chest burned with rage. "Healing? You've become his scalpel, nothing more." The moment fractured into violence. One of the Takamuras lunged at Tanaka. A shot rang out. The figure collapsed, blood soaking his coat. But the others didn't flinch. Aya ran to the fallen man, pressing her hands to his wound.
No! You can't kill him! You can't!
Tanaka aimed again. Move, Aya! She looked up, tears streaming, torn between loyalty and the truth. Her mentor, her monster. The man who had once inspired her, then twisted her into his servant. Please, she whispered, don't make me choose. But she had already chosen. Aya stood slowly, her hands trembling as she picked up a scalpel. Her eyes locked on Tanaka.
If you kill him, you'll have to go through me.
The room exploded into chaos. Gunshots thundered, scalpels flashed, machines toppled. Tanaka moved with desperation, firing at every Takamura who came close. One fell, then another. But were they real clones? Doubles? Aya slashed at his arm, blade grazing flesh. Stop fighting him, she screamed. He's the only one who can save us. Tanaka shoved her back, tears of fury in his eyes. He's killing us, Aya. Look around you. The walls dripped with blood. The patients strapped to beds groaned in agony, harvested shells kept alive only to give more. Their hollow eyes were the only truth that mattered. Aya froze, scalpel shaking. Her gaze darted from the suffering bodies to Takamura's cold smile. And in that moment, doubt cracked her armor. The real Takamura, Tanaka could sense it now, in the way he held himself calm amidst the storm. Stepped forward, voice low. Aya, my dear Aya, finish him. Prove your devotion. Do this and you will stand at my side forever. Aya's breath hitched. She raised the scalpel, hand trembling. Tanaka met her eyes. Not with anger, but with something deeper. Aya, he whispered, you once swore an oath. Do no harm, that's who you are, that's who you still are. He didn't save you. He stole you. Her hand shook violently. Tears blurred her vision. The scalpel wavered, then, with a cry, she spun and drove the blade into Takamura's chest. Takamura staggered, shock flashing across his face for the first time. Blood spread across his white coat. Aya, he gasped, disbelief cutting deeper than the blade. After everything, she sobbed, collapsing against him. I believed in you. But I can't let you win. His knees buckled. He crumpled to the floor, lifeless. The remaining clones froze, staring blankly, as though their master's fall severed the strings that bound them. Tanaka lowered his gun, chest heaving. Relief and sorrow clashed in his eyes. It was over. Or so he thought. The monitors around them suddenly flickered. Takamura's face appeared, recorded, premeditated. If you are seeing this, the recording said, then I have fallen. But did you truly think I would entrust my empire to a single body? Number. My work lives on in every surgeon I trained, in every prototype I created, in every government that shields me. Kill me once, kill me 1,000 times. You will never cut me out of the world. Tanaka's stomach dropped. The clones began to stir again. Aya screamed. And then the lab's walls began to shake. Explosives wired to the foundation detonated in sequence. The entire facility was collapsing. Tanaka grabbed Aya's arm, dragging her toward the exit as flames engulfed the halls. Move, he roared. They barreled through smoke, dodging falling beams, the roar of fire drowning out their cries. Behind them, the clones burned, screaming, collapsing into the inferno. At last, they burst into the cold night air as the lab imploded behind them, a mushroom of fire clawing into the sky. Tanaka collapsed on the grass, coughing, bloodied, exhausted. Aya knelt beside him, face streaked with ash and tears. It's over, she whispered. It has to be over. But Tanaka knew better. In the weeks that followed, Aya testified before international courts, She named politicians, businessmen, surgeons, all complicit in Takamura's empire. The trials shook governments. Arrests swept across continents. The White Circle collapsed under its own corruption. Aya was sentenced, but leniency was granted for her role in destroying Takamura. She wept as she left the courtroom, stripped of her title but clinging to a chance at redemption. And Tanaka, scared but resolute, returned to the force. He was hailed as a hero, though he never felt like one. Too many bodies haunted him, too many ghosts. But justice, at last, had been served. Months later, in a quiet hospital in Berlin, a wealthy diplomat received a life-saving heart transplant. The surgeon masked, moved with steady precision. The same flawless cuts, the same minimal scarring. When the surgery ended, the surgeon removed his gloves, washed his hands, and looked into the mirror. The reflection staring back was unmistakable. It was Takamura, or at least another Takamura. He smiled faintly, whispering to himself, "Justice is a wound, and wounds can always be reopened."